That's really good, hon. It might be one of my favorites.
Welcome back to the channel for part 2 of the strawberry wine, the watermelon wine, and the strawberry watermelon wine, which is what you're seeing right here. Look at the color of this. It's fantastic. And make sure you're clicking that like and subscribe button because I got a lot of cool stuff planned. I got a batch back here brewing right now. I can't wait to show you that one. Let's just stop rambling and get into bottling this wine in part 2.
You never wanted silver, gold, or the finer things. Just a wife and kids, a home in the American dream. Whoa.
All right, look at this strawberry watermelon wine. It's been 30 days that we put it into these secondary containers. Today, I'm gonna get that bentonite in here. You see all that dead yeast at the bottom? That's what we're getting out today. All right, it's time to get some carboy sanitized because we got that 3-gallon, we got that 1-gallon. So I know we're gonna be short on this, so I'm gonna show you a secret. But let's get these carboy sanitized so we can rack it into these. There's my 3-gallon. We'll get that one over here. And we'll do the same for the 1-gallon. Again, sanitize all your equipment. If you're unsure to do that, watch that sanitation video. All right, let's get our bentonite mixture mixed up. You can see from the package here, use 2 teaspoons for a half a cup of warm water, and that's sufficient for 5 gallons. I got 4 gallons, so we're fine. I got my half a cup of warm water here. Now, let's just get 2 teaspoons of the bentonite. I just got a half a teaspoon, so I'm gonna put 4 of these in here. There we go. So we got our bentonite in here. I find a fork seems to work the best. I know I've gotten a lot of tips on this. Guys, I think they're putting them in blenders and so forth, but I just use the fork. Again, you want to get this milkshake consistency. And then what I'll do is I'm going to pour this into my empty carboys. So there we go. We got this slurry mixed up. I'm ready to add it to my sanitized carboys here. So without making a mess, I'm going to pour 3/4 in this one and about 1/4 in the other. Now, we're just going to rack our wine right into these carboys. And we're going to come up short on this little one because you saw how much of that dead yeast we got to get out. So let's just rack it into this one and we'll do something special with this. All right, I got my sanitized racking cane here. And we're going to start with this big one. Let's get this airlock off. And there we go. And get this racking cane in here. I already got the end of the hose down in my bucket, or I'm sorry, down in my other 3-gallon carboy, as I'll show you here. But we got wine going down into our carboy. That's what we want, right? And then remember, we're taking about that much sediment out of here. So I know we're gonna need some of this. So there you can see, I wasted a little bit of wine, but that's okay. You don't wanna get this dead yeast in your wine. A lot of you say, why does your wine smell like rotten eggs? It's because of this yeast. You didn't get it all out. The more you rack it, the more that will go away. So you can see the 1-gallon is way low. You don't wanna stop here. Do you see that bottle in the middle? That's one wine I bottled a little bit ago. It's strawberry pomegranate. And this is going to be perfect to top off that strawberry watermelon. So that 1-gallon batch is now strawberry watermelon pomegranate. Let's get it in there. So let's get this. I'm like twisted all up here, but I love this thing here. I hope I can do this one-handed. Now, I'm just gonna dump this into this wine. You see I put these airlocks on right away because oxygen can be your enemy at this point. So rather than use a funnel, I'll just add this, hopefully, and not make a mess. Oh, look at that. It's almost perfect. I'm gonna just add a little bit of water to this just to bring it up to right about where the neck is. I just added some water to the bottle, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of this. In small quantities, water is okay. So right about there, that's perfect. Now, remember, we got that bentonite in here. We wanna get that stirred in. So here's my paddle. This is what the squirt bottle is handy for. I'm just gonna sanitize this and let it on there for about a minute. There. Hope I didn't spray my camera. 1 minute later. See what that's gonna do. Oh, that's pretty good. So we wanna get that bentonite stirred in, and we're gonna do this for the next 3 days because you wanna charge that bentonite so it pulls everything down and clears this wine up. I love bentonite. I tell you one thing, it still is my new favorite refining agent. And you're gonna see lumps in here. That's okay because that will dissipate as we stir this for 3 days. So reverse direction. I think that's good. I'm gonna get the airlocks on, and we'll just sit these in a cool, dark place. You don't want direct sunlighting hitting any wine. So there it is. I got my sanitized airlocks on here. Let me just smell this again. It smells great. I'm gonna get these stirred for the next 3 days, and fast forward, it's gonna be ready to bottle. All right, look at the strawberry watermelon wine. It's ready to get bottled. I know the camera, you're not gonna see this very good. I'll try and get a shot from behind it, but it is clear. It's been sitting in that bentonite for about 45 days. So I know it's ready because it's clear enough for me. And do you see the bentonite at the bottom? That's what we want to get out today before we put this in any kind of bottle. Now, I've showed you how to sanitize many times on this channel, but it's time to get some bottles sanitized, get all our equipment sanitized, and make sure you're sanitizing your corks too. Sanitation is the key to success in the winemaking hobby. And make sure you're sanitizing your wine bottles. We need about 5 bottles for every gallon. So I think I got 20 to 22 wine bottles here, which should be plenty for this 4-gallon batch of watermelon strawberry wine. Now, we're gonna back sweeten this wine, so we need to get some simple syrup going. I like to use 1 cup of sugar for every gallon of wine. So I got 4 cups of sugar here. That should be plenty. So here's our 4 cups of sugar, and I'm just gonna add equal parts water. So I'm gonna put 4 cups of water in here. There we go, 4 cups of water. And we'll get this heat on, and we just wanna get this dissolved, not to the boiling point. And we'll just stir this until it's completely dissolved. So there you can see it starting to bubble down in the bottom here. And it's clear. That's what you want. That's when we know we're done, and we're just gonna shut the heat off and let this cool to room temperature. Now, if you watch this channel, you know we only need 2 ingredients here. We need Camden tablets to sanitize our wine, and we need potassium sorbate, which is stabilizer. So now, since we're making 4 gallons of wine, we want to put Camden tablets in here to sanitize it, to make sure we don't have any bacteria issues. That's what you use Camden tablets for. Since I'm making a 4-gallon batch, I'm going to use 4 crushed Camden tablets, and I'm going to put them at the bottom of this bucket because I want to rack this wine on top of this to help mix it in a little bit. There we go, that's 4. So now potassium sorbate. Again, you only need this if you're back sweetening your wine. I got a whole video how to back sweeten it, but I'm just gonna show you here. We want a 1/2 teaspoon of potassium sorbate per gallon. So I'm gonna put 4 half teaspoons in here. So now it's time to get this racked. I got my bucket with my additives down there, and we wanna rack this on top of those additives. So I got my sanitized racking cane here, get as much of that sanitation out as you can. I'm gonna put this hose down in my bucket, and this will go into my wine. Now, when we get this siphon going, we want to stay away from that bentonite at the bottom. It's going down into my bucket, and we're going to take the 1 gallon then and put that in here as well. And remember, don't worry about wasting this point. We don't want to get that in here. So if you waste a little, that's okay. Now, when we start to get to the bottom of here a little bit, I'm going to just tilt it a little bit until I see that bentonite slide, and then I'm done. That's it. All right, I went to the littler one for this 1 gallon here. Now, you can see here, I didn't get near as much wine. That might even be like a half a bottle of wine in there. So I pulled it out a little too early. You can filter that out with a coffee filter or some other means, or put it in a cup and let it settle out and drink it. But you just never know sometimes. I'm not going to mess with this one because I don't want any of that bentonite in my finished product. So now you see I covered this after I racked that wine in here. You just want to keep as much oxygen out at this point. But I got my sanitized paddle. You remember we put those additives in here? I just want to give them a gentle stir here at this point to get that incorporated. Now, I had specific instructions from my wife today. Bottle a couple of dry wines because we have friends that are asking for it. I'm not a dry wine drinker, but some people are. There we go. We're filling these 3 dry up before we back sweeten it. Now, you see that sanitizer being forced out. That's okay. Sanitizer is safe in its diluted form. But do you see that middle bottle? It's a green bottle. I usually don't get these, but I bought a bunch of them off of Craigslist for dirt cheap. So I'm gonna use them. So there, we got our 3 dries done. Now it's time for the fun part, the simple syrup. This is gonna sweeten your wine. In my opinion, you're making fruit wine. If you don't sweeten it, you're missing the fruit flavor that's gonna come out when we back sweeten this. So I got this in here, and I'm gonna pour about half of this in here, and you wanna taste this as you go. I know from experience, I'm probably gonna need most of this because that's how we like it, a semi-sweet. So we did that. You wanna stir it in a little bit. Oh, and if you could smell this strawberry watermelon, it smells crazy. All right, so there we go. I stirred that in a little, and we're gonna take our sanitized straw and taste this. And that's what you're gonna do until you get it to where you like it. Still needs more. Add more until you get it where you want it. If you wanna make bottle some like this, you can, and then add a little bit later to make a sweeter wine, a dessert wine or something. That's almost perfect, but I know I'm gonna need a little more. Let's just get to where I want it and bottle this.
I wanna see the world from the edge of my seat, through a big windshield or a plane, not a TV screen. Don't you need the road to tell you you really are?
And you just saw some of that wine come out over the top in the sanitizer. Make sure you're wiping all your bottles down. It's just gonna make for a cleaner, professional job. Here's these 3 dry. And now we got all those over there, so let me continue to wipe all these down. Look at the color of this wine. We got 19 bottles, 3 dry and 16 semi-sweet, but look at the color. All right, here it is. We just got this wine bottled. What kind is it?
I don't know because I wasn't here when you bottled it.
This is that watermelon strawberry.
Okay.
And it came out fabulous. Look at the color of that.
Really
it's kind of weird though because my strawberry wine came out a lot more redder than this. So maybe over time it'll get a little more redder. But let's taste this.
Cheers. Wow.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm surprised you made it that sweet.
Yeah, I put a little more extra
Yeah,
in there.
it's good. It's just like I like it.
Can you taste the strawberry or watermelon? Again, this always will get better with age. I like to keep it 3 to 6 months, but I tell you, I hope you like this video. Stay tuned. I got one over here that I'll be bottling in a couple of days, so I can't wait to show you that. That's going to be a spectacular video.
That's really good, hon. It might be one of my favorites.
Oh,